The other day, I uploaded a video to promote my song, Don't Be Jealous. It's one of these short videos, vertical format. My song is playing, and then there's a caption describing the song or something like that. And in this case, I wrote something like, when you rediscover your most authentic self or your most real self, then you are no longer as jealous of other people because you're living your life according to your own vision, your own values, things like that. Now, I really believe that, but reality is not as simple as something that can be summed up in a single sentence like that, right? Just be yourself, man. It is important, and it's something that I strive to be, but it's not that simple. In my case, I often feel like some of my interests and pursuits and goals are in conflict with each other, and I've always felt this, and it makes me feel like I'm not as far ahead in things as I could be if I was more focused. And so even though having these different pursuits is being authentic to myself, it actually does cause a little bit of jealousy when I see some people whom I perceive, and I understand this could be wrong, right? But sometimes I look at some people and perceive them to have a simpler thing going on in their life. I'm not going to say a simpler life, but basically they have one career that they're pursuing, they have maybe one hobby, and outside of that they just do leisure activities like go to the cinema or go to the beach, whatever, things that people do for fun, right? And yeah, it could be my perception, right? Maybe they have their own conflicts, differing interests and differing pursuits, and they have to balance those, or maybe they are just better at managing all their different interests. That could definitely be the case, right? So I could just be imagining this. I'm always aware of that, but still there is this idea that I have sometimes, which is like, oh, if only I just focused on one thing. So I used to think, oh, I should have focused just on getting really good at playing the guitar. Now, I have gotten over that feeling. Of course, I do want to always get better at playing guitar, but I realized that actually I was spending a lot of time writing songs, because basically sometimes I looked at other people and thought, wow, they're so much better at playing guitar, but then I realized, oh, actually I was spending all the extra time that they were spending on lead playing, I've been spending on writing lyrics and writing songs. So we we both spent the same amount of time on music. I just had a different focus, and every musician has a different focus. So I kind of got over that in a way, which has been good, even though I do want to become a better guitar player. But then, I have a piano here, which I've barely touched, and I really want to learn to play basic piano. And then I think to myself, oh, am I spreading myself too much across two instruments? And then I have to rationalize it for myself again. I have to think, well, no, because things that you learn on the piano will apply to your general musicianship, which is then useful for the guitar. So I keep having to come up with reasons and rationalizations to give myself permission to have different pursuits. And I have other interests like everybody. I'm interested in learning languages, and I like to read about various topics. And yeah, I keep having these thoughts that, no, don't do that. Focus on one thing. And the same goes with career, money making, business, that kind of stuff. I often think, oh, I should have focused on one thing for like a year, and then I would have been much further ahead. And that might be the case, but then I think, how can is it humanly possible to do that? Maybe people like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk were able to do that. So if they can do it, then I can do it. Anyway, so I don't have an answer for this. I'm looking for answers, maybe from people that are watching, from you guys. The only way out of it that I can think of is just to accept that I'm not a game character. I'm not a robot. I'm not going to be fully 100% optimized ever, right? And that's just being human. And I have to live with, manage, enjoy the contradictions and the inefficiencies and the different focuses. What's the multiple? What's the plural of focuses? So yeah, that's what I try to keep in mind. But like I said, that's the logical part of me. But then the emotional, I guess, part of me is beating myself up and saying, oh, you need to be more efficient. You need to stop doing that thing and focus on this thing. And so, yeah, I've quit a lot of things. I've quit a lot of things in order to make time, and I've just decided, right, I'm not going to do this thing anymore because it's just not it's not helping me in the overall picture that I envisage for myself. And that's healthy, I think, to an extent. But yeah, I guess I just have to, like I said, so I've got the logical part of me that wants to be this super efficient and focused robot. And then I've got the emotional side of me that has these different interests and impulses and interests, and that would feel constricted if I tried to regiment myself in that way. And then how those two parts interact, yeah, I mean, it sums it up, right? These two sides of every human, every person that are in conflict with each other. I try to think of how, especially as a musician, as an artist, as a songwriter, you know, how my unique perspective is going to be the sum of all those different interests and pursuits. So they are important, and I shouldn't try to suppress them. Anyway, you know, like I said, I haven't figured it out. I haven't figured it out logically. I haven't figured it out emotionally either. Maybe some of you have insights and answers for that. Anyway, in other news, let me talk a little bit about what's going on with me in terms of my music. So, on Saturday, the 31st of May, I'm playing a gig with my band at the Castle Pub in Aldergate East. It's part of a 4-day festival. If you get a ticket, which is the price of a normal ticket, then you get access to all the different venues, which means that you can see hundreds of different bands. You'll have to choose. You'll have to pick and choose. I don't think you'll be able to see all of them, but you have a big selection, basically. There's a whole bunch of pubs and venues taking place in East London this weekend from Friday to Sunday. Or is it Friday to Monday? I think it's Friday to Monday. And yeah, so come along. Other than that, I'm working on new music. So Glenn, the producer that I work with, he is going to record some drums. He's going to record Leo, who's in Berlin. So he's going to fly over to Berlin. He's going to record him there for the next couple of singles. So that is cool. And I'm in the process of writing some new songs, rewriting old songs, writing new songs, because I need to get ready. I need to get ready for 2026. I need to record music this year to release next year. So that's happening as well. And I also have some acoustic solo shows booked for this summer, and I'll let you know about those. Of course, you can follow me on the other social media platforms to find out when and where I'm playing my gigs. Instagram is usually the best place for that kind of stuff. That's where you can see the regular updates of everything that I'm doing. So yeah, that's it. We're heading into the summer here in London. You wouldn't know by the weather, because I'm looking out the window now and it's grey and it's windy and it was raining a little bit earlier. And the evenings are still chilly. So it's been a funny old spring. Anyway, that's it for today. I'll speak to you guys soon.